I've never felt more dumb than I did when I first became a product manager. I kept on receiving feedback that I needed to be more specific, to understand second-order effects, and to more thoroughly identify edge cases. And while all of that feedback was valid, it wasn't exactly useful for me to figure out how I was supposed to do that. And if you told me that drawing all of my notes was somehow going to magically make me think deeper, I would never have believed you. But in this video, I want to show you the 3 steps I follow whenever I draw my notes out that helps me build better mental models as a product manager. But first, let me start out with the misconception that you can't have visual notes if you can't draw. Most people, when they hear visual notes, they think of notes like this, or this, or this. But honestly, it could look like this, or this, or this. What matters is that it works for you. And so if the only thing that's stopping you from trying out visual notes is this notion that you can't draw, you might want to give it a shot. When I first became a product manager, I always rushed to get into these shared documents that everybody on the team had access to. The thought process was that I don't need to do drafts because if I jump straight into this document, I'm going to do things much faster. But here's the thing. While I might have skipped a few steps, I found myself getting stuck because I would sit there and spend so much time picking the right words and phrases, worrying about my grammar or vocabulary that I would either run out of time or I would forget that I needed to consider so many other things. And that's when I stumbled onto this book, Back of the Napkin. This book really introduced me to the idea that instead of writing whole entire paragraphs about these rough ideas that I had, I could just draw icons or figures that would help me remember all of this and see the bigger picture first. It reminded me that when you're first exploring a problem, you want to cover all of your bases. Who's involved? What's happening? Where did this problem happen? Why? How? How much does it affect everything else? So what I like to do now is that when I'm first approaching a project or a problem area, I'll take my handy little iPad and draw the answers to all of these questions. And it's not because I want it to look pretty or I don't want to type out words, but by putting all of this on one page in a manner that is easy to digest, it helps me see the bigger picture instead of focusing on all of the little details first. Now, you might already be seeing one of the problems that I ran into with this method. If I write down the first thing that pops in my head every time I ask who, what, when, where, why, I might be thinking pretty surface level. And that is one of the pieces of feedback that I got a lot. I was told that I wasn't thinking deep enough. And I think one of the problems I was running into here was that I would see something, take the first solution or idea that I had in my head and run with it. But one thing that's really helped me understand problems better and go deeper was to try to ask myself the exact same questions one more time. So I'll go through each node on my page and then ask myself again, for this person, who else is involved? What else are the problems? Why does he think it's happening? When in this whole big picture does this person come in? And then do the exact same process with every other thing. And now, not only do I have a big picture, but I also have more insight into the details that are involved. And this gives me an opportunity not only to reconsider the problem, but also find all of the holes in my knowledge. Often, when I get to this step, I realize that there are a lot of things that I don't understand just yet, and I have to go do the research or the interviews that would help me understand that. But that doesn't solve all of my problems either. What do you think I ran into here? You might have guessed it. There is a lot of information on this page now. Now I need to figure out, how do I prioritize all of these pieces of information? What's the most important thing I need to know? And then, how does everything else connect to that? Once I start doing this, I normally get a chance to see how is the best way I might be able to simplify all of this information. Now I can take everything I know and pretty much build a mental model of what exactly does this problem look like. At least for me. Now, all of this is great if all you need is for this information to stay in your head. But one of the biggest parts of my job as a product manager is to talk to a lot of different people about problems. So I need to learn how to take all of this information and package it in a way that other people would understand. Luckily, I just did a video on that. So if you're interested in figuring out how you might be able to share information with other people, you might want to check out this video. I hope this helps. Bye!